Hi, Mark here from the Tangent-Bound Podcast Network and host of the flagship show, the Tangent-Bound Podcast. Did you know that we over at Tangent-Bound are always looking for amazing podcasts to promote? And did you also know that we are also proud nerds and geeks of everything from movies, music, gaming, TV shows, and comic books to wrestling, MMA, soccer, and football? Whatever you can nerd or geek out about, we've got it. And if you're interested, we can help you find it. And if you're a show looking for a place to call home, we've got you covered. Side effects may include upset stomach, dizziness, tumors, shakes, and in some rare cases, death from excessive laughter. Though to be fair, it's only sometimes. Other side effects may include diarrhea, gallstones, heart palpitations, and strong desire for cookies on the dark side. Talk to your doctor and visit TangentBoundNetwork.com and see if Tangent-Bound Network is right for you.
Sucks to the last drop. Are you gonna blow your head off? Take good aim and don't forget to duck. A life sucks every Monday and all the way to Sunday, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't care how you're doing, what's up or how's it hanging. I'd like to buy this world one last drink. Life sucks all of the time. Stick it up your sunshine, and then you'll see the clouds every day. And then you'll see the clouds every day. And then you'll see the clouds every day.
We're not doctors, therapists, trained professionals of any kind, so if you feel you do need help, please reach out and get the help you need. We have a whole list of things on our files page over on Facebook at facebook.com/crazylifepodcast, and or just search on the internet for the suicide prevention hotline number, or go to NAMI.org or whatever resource you can find. But just please reach out for help if you need it. If you feel as though you're going to harm yourself or others, definitely reach out. And try not to be alone. Also, if you feel that way and you realize that you're writing a note or making plans of how you would do, like harm yourself or others, definitely reach out. That's a huge red flag. And lastly, please do not replace the idea of therapy with listening to this show. Again, if you need help, please reach out and get the help that you need, or contact us. We can try to help you find the help that you need.
Welcome to The Crazy Life, everyone. My name's Jen. I am your hostess for the evening. And with me, as always, are Brian and Henno. Hey, guys.
Yo. Hey.
So, how you doing? What's been going on?
Wow, I usually think about this on my way home in anticipation, and I just realized I didn't.
Well, I will go first. I will give you a few minutes to gather your thoughts together.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So, my week's been pretty good. I'm trying to think since the last time we talked. Yeah, pretty much the same stuff. I ended up having some time off from work because of the holiday, of course, and got a lot accomplished and a lot figured out in the house. And I went back to work on Wednesday and found out that things are getting a little bit more interesting there. So, yeah, kind of an odd feeling of insecurity in that building right now. Not really sure of a lot of things that are going on. There's probably stuff I can't talk about, but there's just a lot of upheaval and kind of craziness that it's interesting when you're really susceptible to other people's emotions, handling your own and trying to absorb theirs and buffer theirs. It makes for quite an interesting workday, if that makes any sense. If I'm being any more cryptic, I guess, than I could be. I could be any more cryptic. But
Vague booking.
I am vaguing it. But yeah, so it's been really interesting kind of managing through that. But I can definitely feel my meds helping, which is cool. Because I can feel my ups and I can feel my downs. Like when I hit the ceiling and when I hit the floor, I can feel it with my medicine, which is always interesting when you bump into one or the other, because you don't realize how low you're going or how high you're going until all of a sudden you kind of hit the floor, hit the ceiling, and you're like, oh, whoa, wait a minute.
Yep.
It's like, oh, I guess I was there.
Yep.
So that makes it kind of interesting. That, and I kind of buried the lead a bit, but I do have an interview on Monday. So,
Yay.
yes, so audience listeners, this may not be going out until Monday, so maybe afterwards, but some positive vibes my way. I could use all the positivity in hopes and all that good stuff. Yeah, so I'm really, really excited for this. And interesting with this one versus a lot of different things in the past is I'm kind of trying the putting it out into the universe thing, where I'm telling a lot of people, before I would kind of keep things real quiet, close to the vest, and try not to get myself too psyched up about it and all that stuff. But I'm kind of just telling everybody, telling the world, saying, hey, I'm excited about this. I know it may not lead to anything, but it may lead to something major for me. So I'm excited. I'm owning that. And I'm putting the work in to make this as a successful opportunity as possible. And I'm willing to see what happens and just kind of throw it out there into the caution to the wind and just let the universe decide my fate.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
To each his own. But so yeah, so that's kind of been my things. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's important that's been going on. No, that's about it. That's been my week so far. It's just pretty much work, house stuff, and new opportunities on the horizon. So, who wants to go next?
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Well, I'm still dealing with my with the heavy depression. It just doesn't feel quite as bad, but over the last few days it seems to have kind of lessened. But with that has come bad sinus headaches because of our weather shift. Because it's gotten a little warmer and we've gotten rain, and now I've been dealing with terrible sinus headaches the last few days, so I don't know which is worse. I get, at least with the depression, there's a chance I'll get out of bed. With the sinus or migraines headaches, it's almost like nope.
Ugh.
So I was supposed to record with Tony last night. I was supposed to go over to his house and we were going to record, and I woke up and this headache I had was so brutal. It was one of those where it just hurt to have my eyes open. So I texted him real quick, which was incredibly painful to do, because of having to stare at a bright screen,
Eesh.
Yeah, I bet that was hard.
Yeah, even for a couple minutes, it was just So, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna, I was kind of talking with, in my doctor's office, they have a person that contacts me every once in a while that's basically like, hey, do you need anything? And the point of it is for people like me who don't like making phone calls. It's for introverts essentially. And, because, a lot of people that don't like making phone calls will avoid appointments and whatnot because they don't want to make them, So this woman calls and is basically like, do you have everything you need? Do you need any refills? Do you need to schedule an appointment? All this kind of stuff, which is kind of nice, And when I was talking with her, I was kind of telling her a little bit, and it's like, I've got therapy here in a couple weeks. And I think I'm going to wait until after I talk with my therapist a little bit. But, like I said, it might be time to make another visit back to either my doctor or my psychiatrist. So we'll see how that goes. But other than that, it's been a kind of interesting week because, I did a podcast with Heno, and his
that
co-host
was
Stephanie. That was fun. Yeah. So, that I enjoyed doing that quite a bit. And it's funny though, cause afterwards, what it really made me do was it really made me, every once in a while I get these reminders of how much I miss, like, having a comic book shop or working in one, whatever. And that was one of those things, cause we were talking a bunch of Batman stuff, and, it just really reminded me again of how much I kind of missed that. But then later that night, I jumped in subreddit on Reddit that's, about comic books and whatever, and people were, and I started engaging people on there. And then I quickly remembered also how much I hate talking with people about comics sometimes. But yeah. But no, that was a lot of fun. So, definitely go check us out on Gotham Lights if you haven't already. And then, Friday, my, my nephew that's 3 years younger than me. So basically, we grew up kind of more like brothers than uncle and nephew dynamic. And he got married, and, it was nice that I was able to get up and go to that.
Yeah.
Because I missed my brother's wedding. I've missed friends' weddings. Because I couldn't go. And, I basically in my head for this one was like, unless like I literally can't leave the house, I'm going kind of a thing, and we weren't going to go to dinner because the place they were going Jen, you'll know, we were going to go to Calvino's, and my mom and those stairs would not be a good combo because the stairs are kind of tall and narrow, and, but we ended up going, and we found out afterwards that there's a stairway in the back of the place that they use for when they're bringing food up from downstairs that actually leads out to another exit in the building. And those stairs are wider and bigger and stuff. So we went out that way, and a friend of my nephew's actually went down the stairs in front of my mom. Because when she goes downstairs, well, for those who don't know, my mom has vertigo issues because she got a head injury years ago. And, so when she starts going downstairs, she feels like she's falling. Her depth perception doesn't adjust to basically let her know that you're okay. Her balance is off. So she needs someone to go in front of her. And my nephew's friend, who we just met for the first time that night, immediately jumped into action and went in front of her. And which was nice. Super nice guy. Yeah. And I thought a lot of him for doing that because he didn't even know us, but he just just needs to be done. I'm going to do it. And I told him that, and afterwards, I shook his hand and told him thank you. And I said, I appreciate this a lot because my back's been bothering me, and if, it would have been hard if she would have fallen, it would have been hard for me to stop her, Yeah. And my nephew was behind her, so between the two of them, they had her sandwiched pretty good. But yeah, it ended up being, it was nice seeing him, I've seen him a couple of times in moments where, it's just, those are the big moments of his life. And obviously this was one, and, sure. I'm glad I was there for it. And then at the restaurant, somebody ended up comping everyone's dinner. So,
wow.
Yeah, that was their wedding gift to them, was to pay for everybody's food and stuff. So that was
very sweet.
Awesome of whoever it was that did that. It was a very nice move. Yeah. So that took any stress of anybody's basically off for the night. We were just able to sit around and enjoy the food and the conversation and whatever. So it was a nice night. So, and their 4-month-old baby, actually, she almost made it through the whole night without crying.
Oh, wow. That's great.
She went through most of the ceremony without anything. And then we were at the restaurant. She cried a little bit, but it was feeding time. So they gave her a bottle, and then she didn't make any more noise really until it was about time for her to go to bed. You know, it was that like fussy, I need sleep cry. Which,
well, I mean, naturally, we all go through that.
Right. So what was interesting about this day, though, is for me to go do stuff like this takes a lot. You know, a lot of people don't realize the different aspects that I go through in order to go somewhere. And it doesn't matter generally who it's with, you know, because I have stomach issues, so I'm usually like taking medicine for that. I've got to like do breathing exercises to calm myself back down, you know, to help with my anxiety. You know, it's like there's the whole way there in the car ride, I'm already have a heightened anxiety. So the car ride there, I'm even more anxious in a car, you know, and by the end of the night though, like we were sitting in the restaurant at one point and I was just sitting there and then I realized that I was just kind of staring off and I'm like, it's time to go. Like I'm full, you know, like I've hit my peak. So we left not too long after that anyway. We get outside and it was so foggy. Like it wasn't even, like there probably wasn't even a 1/4 mile visibility. And I'm like, oh great, you know, because I already don't like being in cars. Now we're in a bad driving condition. But honestly, it really wasn't that bad actually, because it was nice. The fog actually, you know, toned down all the headlights of everybody. And so, you know, I could see the tail lights and everything, so I could kind of judge where everything was, you know. And I guided us home just simply by seeing landmarks, you know. Like going, oh, like when we were at one place, I saw a bank and I'm like, oh, okay, we're at Central and so, you know, whatever. And, you know, and then we get to another point and I'm like, okay. And, you know, just telling my mom like where we were basically just based on, you know, cause you couldn't read any, street signs, you know. Oh, sure. It was just, there's just no, until you were almost past them, you know, but yeah, it was just kind of weird. But, you know, when we got home, when I went in my room and it was just like, the first thing, it was just that quiet, you know, and I'm like, okay, I'm home, so I'm in my safe zone again, you know, no more car, I'm out of all that, I'm home, it's quiet, and it's like, okay, you know, now it's go through the breathing exercises again, because now I'm just trying to get back to baseline, you know. Yeah. So, but, you know, I did, but, yesterday, I had a hangover from it, you know, like I felt that yesterday because it was, again, it was just that sandwich of anxiety on top of other anxiety, you know, so, but yeah. And that's, I'm trying to think. I feel like there was something else. No. Oh, Friday I get up cause I thought I had a teeth cleaning scheduled. Get to the dentist office and the woman's like, we don't have you on the schedule. And I'm like, you called me and told me I have an appointment today at 11:15. And then she goes, oh, we called you again this morning because we needed to reschedule. She's like, when you were scheduled, they only scheduled you for half an hour. And we like to schedule an hour for cleanings just in case. And I'm standing there because I slept 2 hours before that. You know, so I'm standing there and it's interesting because I was too tired to get mad. But I was just like, are you kidding me? And she was like, no, sorry. And I was like, okay, well, I need to reschedule then, I guess. Apparently they left me a message, but I just didn't check my messages. I got up and I went, you know? Yeah. So that's on me, whatever. And then she goes, okay, well, the next opening is like December 18th. And I'm like, really? I gotta wait almost 3 weeks? Because you guys screwed up? I was like, whatever, you know, like, whoa, sorry. I was like, fine, you know, it's just, so I was more angry that I could have been sleeping. Cause I had just gotten to sleep and my alarm goes off cause that's how it works, you know, and, oh man. So I came home and got like 2 more hours of sleep. Then I had to get up and go, you know, get ready for my nephew's thing. So we got home. I sat at the computer for about half an hour, and then I realized it was an hour later, but I only remembered half of it
Oh, my.
because I had fallen asleep at the computer. So I was
Nice.
like, I went out and I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because, like, I didn't talk to Roxana that night. I just, like, we texted and I told her, I was like, I'm just too tired tonight. Like, I don't think I could stay awake on the phone. So that was a rare situation for me, you know, but when I push myself that far past the lack of sleep, when I crash, it's hard.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, that's what I got that I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a really good week. I think my weird funky mood turned somewhere. It just kind of happened on its own. And
Good.
I didn't have that feeling anymore, which was great. And at work, it's weird how, like, we're getting ready for the holidays, but it really doesn't. Maintenance guys, we're done. We're ready, right? Everyone else that's involved with, you know, concierge and setting up units and things like that, they're in full, you know, panic. Well, they're not panicking, but they're, you know, they're working it. And so we got to the end of the week. It was Thursday, and my boss happened to be off that day. And one of my coworkers had brought up that we had changed, or when we went to a new PTO system, that we also changed the amount of rollover hours, and they restricted them evidently a lot. And I was like, nah, I was like, there's no way. And then I finally found the paperwork, and I'm like, oh wow, they have. Huh, wonder how many I have, because I literally hadn't checked, because I usually burn up all my vacation time by the end of the year. And so I looked, luckily our bookkeeper was there, and she gave me the piece of paper, and I looked at it, and I'm just like, you know, look down. It's lunchtime. Why am I here? I'm going home. Like, I was literally about to go vacuum a mechanical room, because, like I said, maintenance, we're ready. We've got all our stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're you know, unless it snows, you know, we pretty much have everything handled. And so it was kind of fun to just be like, yeah, I'm going to take the rest of the day off today. And it felt really good, because I got home, and it was, you know, it just sucks when it gets dark so early. I get home, and I'm like, you know, and it's cold. And so I got some Christmas lights up and fixed some things around the house, and it was kind of fun. But yeah, it's been a good week. And I went, did a little day trip on Saturday to Idaho Falls, and went and saw a movie, and went shopping. And you know, Sears is closing a lot of their stores.
Yeah.
And so it just happened that they were, the one in Idaho Falls being closed. And I was like, oh, let's go see. You know?
Yeah.
40%, you know, clothing was a good deal, like tools and things weren't, and things like that. But it was kind of fun, because I'm not much of a shopper. Like, I don't, you know, it's not really my thing. But it was kind of fun.
Hold on real quick, Keno. No, Jen, he's not a shopper. He's a buyer. He's like me.
Yeah, this is true.
Like, we don't, like, he's not the type, I'm assuming you're like me in that I don't want to go shop for hours. I just want to get what I want and be done.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that bass that I bought myself for Christmas last week.
Yeah. Well, you needed that, though.
Well, this was great, because it is something that I've wanted for a while now, for many months. And I've just been like, okay, you know, I will get a Christmas bonus. I'll, you know, this stuff, and I've got gigs. I'm going to be doing 2 gigs right before Christmas to 2 different bands. And I've got 4 gigs already set up for January.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I'm like, okay, I am now working.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to have something that I think I've earned it now.
Mm-hmm.
So I ordered it, and I do lots of research, and I really look at what I'm getting and why I'm getting it. And I try, you know, but the fact of the matter is I didn't call anybody to ask if they thought I should do it, but I and did it. I sent a text to Neil afterwards, so I said, I didn't check in with you. And I don't feel bad about it. And when it arrived on Friday, it was amazing.
Nice.
And I had rehearsal Friday night, and I played, and I was just ultimately happy. I'm so glad I did it, because it really is. Right now, it is I was talking to one of my former roommates today at work, and I said, like, I refill my soul. You know, it's like it fills my cup when I get to play music.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day is, you know, the day in and day out it isn't as I played with my one band I played on Friday night. We haven't done anything since July, so we had a great time just reconnecting and that kind of thing. So yeah, good week. I had a weird thing happen at work, and I actually called Brian last night on my way back from Idaho Falls and talked to him about it. And it's just another, like, you know, even if you talk to someone you hear about singing, you're guaranteed to hear something you didn't think about.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, and it was really cool. You know, I heard, you know, it's like we just shut some things around, and it's like, okay. And a lot of it tied into what you're talking about, Jen, which is, you know, you have to do the work and just leave the results out there,
Mm-hmm.
and try to stay out of the outcomes, and just and do the best you can that feels, you know, and consult with people. And I think that it's a message that we like to share on this show.
Mm-hmm.
The little steps, whether it's, you know, your seeing a therapist or going to the doctor for something, or, you know, you're not sure about, you're not feeling right about this or that. And these are part of the tools,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they continue to work.
And something I liked about, like, the conversation you and I had was that you didn't call me looking for me to just confirm your opinion. You know, you called me and basically was like, here's this, and, you know, put fresh eyes on it, you know? And
yeah, what do you think?
Yeah. And then, you know, and again, that's why I like our conversations, because we generally do that, you know, on this show, when we talk privately, whatever, like, we all do that. And I really appreciate that, because again, you know, you're actually in a conversation, you know, you're not just, hey, I'm right? You know, you're actually like, you know, you hear something.
You know what?
Go ahead.
No, yeah, you're nailing exactly something that's come up with me with some friends of mine, where they've already got it all figured out, and they're for some confirmation.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's like, you already know exactly, you know, you don't want to hear anything contrary, because you've already had the whole conversation in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, I'm just like, okay, so why did you call me? And you're right. It's like, we're open about the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We throw ideas out there. To me, it's being open-minded.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's looking at being open-minded to solutions. So well, that's about the catch up.
Cool.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Topic.
All right. Topic. The topic of today is, I wanted to do a little preface on this, because the topic is 15 ways to find something to smile about every day. Now, this is not telling others to smile. This is focusing on yourself. Because we've talked about before, you know, sometimes telling people to smile, and there's a lot more to it. Yes, nobody needs that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But helping yourself find ways to smile and things to smile about, there's actually a lot of benefits, as we're going to go over today a little bit about smiling and benefits it'll bring to your life. So there is a lot of positives there. Yeah. All right. Smiling each day. In fact, even a forced smile can have a positive impact on a person's mood. In tests, those who smiled exhibited lower heart rate than those who maintained a neutral expression. But you don't have to force a smile to put yourself in a good mood each day. There are things you can do that will both create a natural smile and improve the overall quality of your life. Here are 15 ways to make yourself smile every day. Do. All right. Number 1, start your day with nature. Studies have found that exposure to sunlight naturally boosts a person's mood. So consider taking your cup of coffee out on the deck. Instead of checking emails on your phone, spend the time appreciating the scenery in front of you. You'll likely find it naturally brings a smile to your face.
Yeah, like this. Tim Ferriss has talked about this a little bit on his show, where when he first starts his day, he doesn't immediately get up and go to his devices. He gets up and does his meditation and that kind of stuff first to basically, for lack of a better term, get yourself together or centered or whatever. Then you can actually approach what, you need or want to do from there. And I think this fits in that same thing, because you just go out on, like you said, on the deck or whatever and just look outside. If you're in an area that actually gets sun this time of year, that's awesome. But even on overcast days, like my doctor told me, even on overcast days to still get outside, because even though you don't get as much vitamin D from the sun on those days, you still get some. So it's still better than nothing. Like me, I've got a deficiency in vitamin D. I'm on a supplement, but I'm still low. And then this time of year, it's even lower. And go figure, I'm depressed. It's, so that's, those are the kind of things that, this can help with, maybe kind of boost you in the morning a little bit, Plus it's just calming, especially if you have like a busy day ahead of you or whatever, do this and or meditate and then launch yourself into your day.
I do love having just a nice quiet time with my coffee in the morning. It's something about it just really helps to start my day out nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 2, hit the gym. Whether you wake up half an hour earlier or take a break at lunch, the endorphins released by exercising can lift your spirits immediately. If the gym is out of the question, take the stairs instead of the elevator or walk to your morning meetings.
Or if you're like, I can't remember that guy's name now, the one I talked about that was on Tim Ferriss' show, where he basically, no matter where he is, he'll turn it into a gym. So.
Oh, yeah. There was,
like he goes out into parking garages to do pull-ups.
Yeah. He'll do anything, anywhere.
Yep.
Nice.
This is this is the one that I love to talk about is even at the end of the work day when I'm tired and I just want to go home and I have no desire to really go work out, I get in there, I do it, and I always feel better afterwards.
Mm.
It just works, and it gives me more energy, for the most part, and I get home and I do what I need to do and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of science behind that too, that exercise really can benefit people who are low energy or depressed, because it gets everything going, not to mention all the other, benefits of it.
Well, number 3 is visit the office humorist. Every office has one. Make a stop by your funniest coworker's office when you need your spirits lifted.
Okay, that's funny.
A 5-minute conversation can make all the difference. I personally call up my friend and fellow entrepreneur writer John Rampton for a comical laugh all the time.
That's fun. That's good.
Yeah.
It's true, though.
Mm-hmm.
There's always someone.
Yeah.
Or there, you know what? There's either somebody that is the class clown that will make you laugh that way, or there's somebody that's always very positive.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
There's always somebody that's like that will just, the way that they say hello or something will make you smile.
Yeah, unless you were me in high school, and then I just, those are the people I wanted to murder, but.
Like me.
Jen, yeah. No, what it was it wasn't that you were just like, hey, it's a good day, blah, blah. It was that you were so far beyond that. You were to the positive extreme that I was to the negative extreme, and yeah.
I was pretty positive back then.
Mm-hmm.
So 4, do a nice thing for yourself. Often we spend so much time taking care of things for others that we forget to help ourselves. Do little things for yourself, like grabbing your favorite cup of coffee on the way to work or reading a good book at lunch.
Or buying a bass guitar.
Yeah.
Buying a bass guitar.
Yep. Sounds like a good plan to me.
Once you've done something nice for yourself, do something nice for someone else. People who do volunteer work have been found to be happier than those who don't. Even if you don't have time to perform charity work regularly, though, you can improve your overall quality of life by doing little things for other people. That's one thing, a big thing that I decided to do a few years back is actually a New Year's resolution, and I've mentioned it on the show probably a couple times already now, is if I think something nice, I say something nice. So all those thoughts that you have that bounce around in your head, like, oh my God, those are cute shoes, or, all that stuff that bounces around in your head when you're in your daily life that you don't actually say out loud. Mm-hmm. I made a promise to myself that I'm going to start saying those things out loud. Just the fact of putting that out there, and it makes other people smile. It makes me smile. It's a positive interaction with another human being versus being all inside my own head. So it has been paid off tenfold. It's just really made my life happier just by something as simple as I think it, I say it.
Yeah.
Well, the positive stuff anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think the positive stuff, you say the positive stuff. The negative stuff,
yeah,
keep it in there or see it in the right spot.
Right. Yeah, the appropriately positive stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and another key word there. Make sure it's appropriate, folks.
Especially at work, but anywhere, but especially at work. Yeah.
Be appropriate with your comments.
Yeah.
I just had a salty language moment there. All right, count your blessings. Likely you've heard of the advice to write down the things you're grateful for each day in a gratitude journal. Turns out there is science behind this advice, but only to a point. One study found people who wrote these things down once a week were actually happier than those who wrote them down more often.
That makes sense, I think, because you get kind of desensitized to doing it. Well, the other thing, though, is the goal with those lists is to not write the same thing every day, though. Sure. Like if you on Monday wrote something, you try to at least put some different stuff in Tuesday. The goal is supposed to overall be an exercise in just being, mindful and grateful for things. And, if you start just writing the same thing every day, you're going to take it for granted. You're just not going to, put your full effort into it.
Next one is listen to music. If you drive to work each day, you likely think of your car radio as a background music. It actually can be a great way to pep yourself up for the day. Create a playlist of your favorite music and pump up the volume every morning. Gotta pump it up. Pump the volume. Sorry, had to go there.
No, don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, yeah, music's a big one. For most people, usually, it's one of those things that kind of no matter what kind of mood you're in, if you hear the right song, it improves your mood.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just just choose wisely. Make sure you don't grab one in there that is something that reminds you of traumatic times or whatever. Just keep it light and fun or whatever. Or, whatever. If it's all death metal, that's fine too. Whatever gets you going,
Take the scenic route to work. Instead of beating the same path to work back and forth every day, mix it up occasionally. Avoid the interstate and take back roads. It might add a few minutes to your commute, but it will be well worth it. And it's been proven time and time again that it's a safer way of going about things too. Because when you pick a route and you go the route every day, the same time, every day, over and over and over again, you go into autopilot and your reaction times are slower. Because you're just not as attuned or paying as close attention as if you keep mixing it up and doing a variety of different things. So be safe, and mix it up. make some changes every so often and stuff.
Another one would be what Henno has done in the past when you were biking to work, or the days when you would take the bus instead. It alters, even though it's the same trip, basically, it alters your perspective, I guess, is the way to look at it,
Absolutely.
Also, if you bike, then it's exercise too, but,
It's a twofer.
Twofer, dude.
It's a twofer. All right. Eat a delicious meal. Whether you take time in the morning to make a full breakfast or have a great lunch at your favorite restaurant, enjoying your favorite foods can give you a boost to your day. You also have something to look forward to each day. And possibly a sugar rush if your favorite foods are candy. Just saying.
When it says meal, I don't think it means eat a bunch of candy.
Doesn't all meals include a bunch of candy?
No.
Blasphemy.
Yeah. I guess.
Bite your tongue, Bride.
Sorry. I on this one, I want to point out too, something that Henno and Angela talked about on Angela's Awesome Podcast, which is to take time to enjoy your food.
Ah, yes, definitely.
Especially when it's a food that's like your favorite or whatever, don't just open your face and pour the plate down, But, take the time to appreciate and enjoy your food also.
Assimilation.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, no. This one, I don't know if we can handle this one.
Are they going too far?
This one's going a little too far. All right, number 10, stay off social media.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
No, I can't. If the first thing you do each morning is check your social media accounts, you may be harming your overall well-being. Research has found that people who use Facebook experience negative emotions associated with their time online.
Well, yeah, it's Facebook. That's why I don't use Facebook.
We've kind of talked about social media in the past episodes and stuff about just there's the fear of missing out. There's also a lot of smoke and mirrors on social media where people are posting the positive things about their lives. You don't see the negative, so it's easy to fall into the, oh my gosh, their life is so much better than mine. Mm-hmm. Well, you're just seeing the one side of things.
Yeah.
So,
also,
there's just a lot of things with social media.
Yeah, definitely. It's because there's, like we talked I don't know, it was a month or two ago, 3 months, whatever it was, about the thing in the new Apple iOS. I don't know if Androids have it or not, but where it analyzes your screen time and whatnot. It's, that's a good tool if you want to cut back, that's a really good tool because you now look at how much time you're spending on it, It was kind of like, I remember, do you remember, Jen, when we started keeping track of how much we spent a month on fast food, and at the end of the month we were like, oh my God. It was that kind of a thing, is you don't realize sometimes how much of a resource you're putting into something until you really track it, or like when you do a food journal and you start going, wow, like me, when I was like, I don't eat that much, and then I'm looking going, wow, but what I eat is really high in calories and fats and, so like I said, this is a good way to kind of track your, progress, whatever. Also, like I mentioned a little bit ago with when Tim Ferriss said, which is, when you first get up, don't immediately go to your device, get the cup of coffee, take a shower, meditate, whatever, something more along those lines. Do self-care first, that kind of a thing.
I do, the first thing I do in the morning, I do care for others. I have coffee.
Helping out others.
I inoculate myself on behalf of the rest of the world so that they don't have to deal with me sans coffee.
Right.
We appreciate
service.
it. We appreciate it. On behalf of the world, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, number 11 is keep smile inducers nearby. In addition to the work reminders and notes posted in your work area, you should also keep items around that make you smile. Photos of your loved ones, drawings your children made, or birthday cards from friends and relatives can induce a smile when you need it most. I am a huge proponent of this, and people used to tease me because I kept bobbleheads at my desk. But I worked in customer service, and whenever I would have an angry call or something that didn't go the way I needed it to go, I would just hit the little bobblehead, make their little heads bounce back and forth, and it made me smile. I'd much rather have a few minutes of just looking at their little googly eyes and heads bouncing back and forth than sitting at my desk in tears or losing my cool and saying something I shouldn't say. I'll take the teasing for having a little bobbleheads at my desk.
Mm-hmm.
My greatest smile inducer is my four-legged furries.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Now, granted, I can't take them to work with me, but, I always have photos. But it's just, honestly, it's the best thing in the morning and the best thing at night before I go to bed is, their little fuzzy faces.
Yes. Miss Molly, one of my dogs, has taken to now. She likes to spoon with me when she goes to bed and puts her head on my pillow. So, yes, I have very spoiled dogs. So I completely understand exactly what you're saying. And they will probably be, their pictures are always not too far from wherever I'm at.
Yeah. That is one of the nice things about the phones and whatnot is you can keep all that stuff right at your fingertips for when you need, it's, that episode of The Simpsons where Homer puts all the pictures of Maggie up, and over the sign so it says do it for her or something like that, because he hates his job, but he just keeps seeing pictures of her and that's his motivation. So yeah, this one makes a lot of sense. This is why, like, when I was in high school, I kept a bunch of, action figures on my storage cabinet that was next to my drawing table. Was anytime I would, whatever, I just start playing with my toys.
No, next one is watch funny clips. There's a reason cat videos are so popular. Pinpoint these things that make you laugh and find videos you can watch whenever you need a pick-me-up.
That's the one part I disagree with the social media thing.
Yeah.
Because I do have a choice of how I set up my social media, and I can go into Facebook and in the search bar hit silly raccoons. Guaranteed happiness.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting though, because it just comes down to whether or not a person can do that without then also going, well, just check my notifications because I'm right here,
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah. Because otherwise you're right.
Funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like watching, like wrestling botch videos. Like the funny ones. I mean, sometimes there's some that, are like, oh geez, like how did someone not kill themselves? But a lot of them are just ridiculous because someone will just whiff on something and, the other guy will still sell it, like they won't even touch him and the guy will just flip over the top rope or something. So yeah, I love watching those.
As long as you're watching those funny clips, go ahead and go over and read something funny. So, talk to funny people, watch funny clips, read something funny. Getting the gist of that one. And then number 14, chat with strangers. You may not be a morning person, but you'd be surprised at how much small talk with a stranger can help. A good morning to a stranger in the elevator could turn into a conversation that completely lifts your mood.
I have zero tolerance for small talk in the morning. This would not work with me. Like, the last thing I want is small talk in the morning. I just want to be left alone.
The one thing I've noticed at my work is there are certain people that, because we have the health club, there are a lot of personnel there that come for they teach a class or they do a, something really short and then they leave again. So I see them a lot going back and forth, and I don't necessarily go out of my way to say hello to all of them. But I noticed last week there was one person who I just engaged a little more than I ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a cool response back in it, and it made me smile,
Mm-hmm.
and it made me feel good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it can be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the chat with strangers is a special occasion thing more than a everyday thing.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because early in the morning, I'm more likely to straight out avoid strangers and talk to people I know. You know,
Mhm.
like go into when it said go to the office jokester or whatever, that would be more of my move than to go talk to some rando. You know, later in the day it'd be different. Then I'll talk to people, but early in the morning, I want someone who I know isn't going to annoy the crap out of me. You know.
Let's see. And then the last but not least, spend time with your loved ones.
Boo.
I know. Who loves to do that? Now, you are likely to smile more when you're with your loved ones than at any other time of day, so that time is extremely valuable. So, definitely, even if your loved ones, shouldn't say even if your loved ones are four-legged furry friends or the two-legged not-so-furry ones.
Or three-legged.
Or three-legged or no-legged, depending upon where you go with things. But spend time with the ones you love.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that for myself, I get just so much joy out of, like, if I can get home in time and take the dogs out for a little bit of a walk,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel good because it's like, even though I'm still in my work clothes, I'm not working.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's that feeling of like, because it's when I come home and if I just pop myself down on the couch and I'm in my work clothes, I feel like I'm still like recovering from my day. But if I walk in, I grab the dogs and I go for a walk, there's something about it that changes my attitude.
Yeah.
And it's even more
Yeah.
fun, like when like Sharon comes home and then she'll like join me and
Mhm.
we'll just do like a quick walk down to the school with the dogs and just chat about silly stuff before before the routine kicks in, because as much as we have routines at work, we have routines at home too.
Sure.
And I notice I can be really stuck in them.
Yeah.
And it's a nice thing to break them every once in a while. That's why a lot of the suggestions of like, hey, go out to dinner, plan a dinner,
Mm-hmm.
do something, something that brings you that you need help with
Mhm.
in your house, that kind of stuff. Those are all ways to I think it's so easy to isolate. And then even, Sharon and I love to joke about when we go out for like lunch or something like that, we both pull out our phones and we laugh like, yeah, we're bonding.
Yeah. Right.
Like, so it's so easy to do that nowadays, right? And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be TV, the computer, it could be your devices, it could be a video game, it could even be just reading a book and stuff. But when we actually do things together, there's more opportunity to laugh.
Yeah.
Sure.
Guaranteed.
Well, I read something, I don't remember when it was. It was like within the last year that was talking about, like, basically it doesn't matter what the activity is, just doing it with someone else elevates how you perceive it as far as the enjoyment level. So like, even if you're both sitting in the same room reading, not talking at all, but because you're still together doing it, it adds something to the enjoyment level of whatever you're doing. So,
Yep.
I guess,
Nice.
yeah. Also, when you mentioned going for a walk with the dogs and stuff too, it makes sense because like, if Sharon goes with you, and the dogs, you're spending time with your loved ones, you're exercising, you're getting into nature, and you know what I mean? It's like you're doing multiple things off of this list. Yeah.
Slam dunk.
Yep. So you're crushing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you think, guys? Pretty good?
Good list.
Mhm.
Like it.
All right. Awesome. Well, folks, it's that time. You know what you can do. You can reach out to us if you want to continue the conversation. You can reach out to me on Twitter at Jen's Crazy Life. That's Jen with a G. Or my alternative account, Jits with the Tits, whichever you prefer. You can also reach us at the Crazy Life Podcast at outlook.com is our email address. The crazylifepodcast.weebly.com is our website. And if you want to hear more from me, you can also check out my other podcast, Shake the Sheets with Nate McGonigal. The fun conversation that we have every week about random topics and all sorts of goodness. So with that, Henno, how can they reach you?
You can find me on Twitter at Ida Henno. You can find me on Facebook, Henno Heiter. And I am going to sneeze again. And I held it off. All right. And check. Oh, wait, it's coming back. No, check out Gotham Lights podcast this week. If you go on to any podcast, any place where you can listen to podcasts, you search for Gotham Lights, you will find it. And you will hear me and my co-host Stephanie and Brian all talking about the many, many voices of Batman in animated and like video games and stuff. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was a really fun talk.
And we're going to do Joker for sure.
You have to, right?
And Brian, how can they reach you?
You can find me on Twitter at Stunami. You can find my other podcast at salty_language or at saltylanguage.com. That show is not safe for work. So, be careful who you listen to it around. You can find the Crazy Life Facebook group at facebook.com/group/crazylifepodcast. You can also find the show on Twitter at the Crazy Life Pod, where I post when new episodes go up. We're part of the Tangent Bound Network, which can be found at tangentboundnetwork.com. So please go check out that site and see if there's some other shows you may enjoy. If you would like to help the show out, we would appreciate it if you would take the time to rate, review, and subscribe if you haven't already. And or just share share the episodes or our Facebook posts, anything like that with your friends, and just let them know to maybe listen. Maybe they get something out of the show. And then, again, as I usually do here, I point out, reach out to somebody. Let them know that you care, that you love them, that just check in on them. And again, don't just check in on your friends that you think are going through a rough time. Check on the ones that are always telling you they're fine also. Because sometimes they're the ones that actually need it more. And then, of course, I think it's in the thing before the episode, but I just want to reiterate, if you are having a hard time, there's a lot of help out there for you, so please reach out to someone or find a group online or, just make sure, you're telling someone about it. Don't keep it inside and you're not alone. And then the last thing is, we've already kind of mentioned on here already a little bit, but, do something nice for someone and, just be nice. Just be kind to other people and to yourself.
Exactly. And with that, folks, give yourself a smile this week. Try to see what you can do to maybe lift those corners of your mouth a bit. So enjoy. Talk to you later.